Okay.
Can you pull that up for me? What I wanted to share with you before everybody has to go to the next meeting, is there's a paper handout here, and it gives you pipeline planning resources, including it here are the sites that Linda has mentioned. And on the back, there's a handy dandy table that's called siting regulations and safety regulations for pipelines. It lists all the agencies that are responsible, what the league found based on our studies, what's available presently, and what's needed and what's lacking. So this may be something that's useful to you, and I hope you all get one. Now, I'm going to push this because I know it's fast. They say pictures are worth 1,000 words. These are the pipelines in Pennsylvania, and they're done by operator. And those orange blobs are storage facilities. We have 25 storage facilities, 60 storage facilities in 25 counties in the Commonwealth right now. You've seen these pipelines running north to south, which will bring the Marcellus gas into the market. My job is to go through environmental impacts very quickly. Erosion and sedimentation is a big problem. You really need to talk to DEP. You know, they're responsible for doing those permits for everything. And they're on the fast track to permitting, 30 days. So it's important that you talk to your legislators, you talk to people at DEP and say, these are important areas. We can't afford to have you look at these in 30 days and rubber stamp the permit. They're clearing corridors and right-of-ways. These steep slopes are real. They're going to cause long-term stormwater problems in your communities. The hydrogeology changes. During construction, there are areas where they do staging. There are areas where they put the pipelines, they trench, they then backfill. The way they backfill determines the hydrogeology. In some areas, you may want areas that are filled with things that are impregnable. You don't want necessarily the acid mine that's up the top of the hill, that water to flow into the water that's near this pipeline, which is going to go into your source water. There's very important decisions that have to be made. DEP cannot just look and stamp it. You need to let them know what's in your neighborhood, what they have to watch out for. Again, they're laying the pipeline, they refill, then they restore. There's a permanent area, there's a temporary area. It's never going to look the same again. The water is not going to flow the same. These are slides from the Delaware River Basin. This is the Delaware River Keeper Network. They've monitored what was happening in 2012. This is what it looked like before, this is what it looked like afterwards. We're talking about very valuable watersheds. The compacting and fragmentation that Julie talked about, when they put in a pipeline, they put heavy equipment down those paths. It's like concrete when they're done. When they restore it, that revegetation doesn't look anything like a real tree. What they put there is not what was left. I mean, it just doesn't work the same. The fragmentation, this isn't Tioga State Forest. This is not forest, you know, this is Pennsylvania today. This is not Wyoming. Again, this is from the U.S. Department down here. U.S. government says pipelines are twice as fragmented as drilling. You're looking at greater interior losses. You're looking at edge effects, as Julie mentioned. We're getting invasive species in, those species that depend on the interior forests. You need to know what's in your land. You need to know where those endangered species are. You need to be able to assess what's there. I bet you have high quality and exceptional value streams nobody's recognized. I bet you have bog turtles here. I bet you have bats here. But if nobody knows they're here, they can't be protected. And with their protection comes your protection of the water supply. Again, this is an high quality stream. They're crossing it. Again,
Wet crossing.
wet crossing.
Yeah, that's a wet crossing.
This is from the Delaware River Keeper. They had monitors out there. Just because you get this happening doesn't mean you stop. You've got to monitor all the way through the process. This is an example of one small project, 25 miles. 250 acres of land was impacted, crossing 1,729 feet of 90 water bodies, 17,777 feet of 136 wetlands, and required at least 29 access roads. You're getting a bigger line from this. Pennsylvania is blessed with water, but with that blessing comes challenges. Again, when you're looking at pipelines, there are ways to cross rivers and streams and wetlands. There are better ways than other ways. You need to know. You need to put the pressure on. You need to get the conditions you need that you're gonna feel safe drinking that water, and your grandkids are gonna feel safe drinking that water. Again, sometimes the dry ditch method doesn't work. You know, the streams overflow. All these decisions are based on, for example, the size of the pipeline, the pressures it's operating under. It's based on the width of the waterways. It's based on the flow of the water. And you know, those 100-year storms are coming every other week.
Yeah.
Again, this horizontal deep drilling, you've seen it. It works.
Can you explain what that is, Roberta?
What they do is go under the creek, the waterbed. So if you're crossing the Mississippi River, this is what you do. They have all this technology these days. They go underneath, they start with a little hole, they keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they can put a big pipeline through. And they have it all mapped out, and when they've got the hole, then they pull the pipeline through. It's sort of like, you know, ladies here, you know how you used to make the elastic skirts, you pull the elastic through with the, yeah, that's how they do it. And there's how they pull it through, they just coat it and pull it right through. Now, don't think it's not without a problem though. Sometimes, you know, we have these limestone geologies, we have sort of silty stuff under the river, and, you know, they have this bentonite, which is an inert clay, it's no big deal, you know, it's dead, who's gonna care? But, you know, sometimes they have these called frackouts where it blows up into the stream and all over the trees and everything around it. And, you know, that's probably not too good for the fish and the eggs. It's probably not too good to go into water intakes of your public water supplies. So this is a challenge, so you need to be aware that even what a lot of people think is the best method is not foolproof. And a lot of these companies don't have the same kind of experience you do because they're not locals. They don't know where the problems are. They might be from Oklahoma or Texas, Colorado. So, you know, you need to have your eyes on what's under your feet. When they cross those wetlands, they're supposed to use these nice wooden bridges so that the, you know, the big equipment can flow over nicely. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the perimeter controls don't hold up. I mean, I don't know what happened around here last week, but I know what my house was like. Again, this is a map of just crossing the Delaware River Basin, all the different pipelines, what's existing, what doesn't exist. And you notice how some of them are like, they look like they're like, you know, beaded necklace with different colors? That's because they segment the pipelines. And when they segment them, they don't have to go through the same conditions. They don't go through the same environmental permitting processes because they're smaller. It's just like what you do for 5 acres, you don't have to do for 2 acres. So it has to do with the length of these pipelines and how they segment them, and it's very tricky. So they've been at it a long time. We're new to the game. So you need to play the game, and you got to know the rules. Again, hydrogeology is a problem, the wetlands and sensitive streams are problems, and the erosion and sedimentation are the problems. This is right there where they're putting a gathering line up in the Wellsboro area. This is actually along the Susquehanna River after one of those nice floods. So that's a safety issue, in case you couldn't figure that out. You've got to watch those compressor stations. Compressor stations are large industrial operations. They go 24/7. It's like having jet engines next to your house. They make a lot of noise. You can mitigate that. You've got to make sure that you get the conditions that you want. They are noisy, and they have a tendency to also emit a lot of volatile organics other than methane. So there's other things coming up into the air, and we know from things like acid rain, what comes up comes down, right? Might not always like it. This is an example. They're like jet engines. You see those big tanks, and, you know, lots of noise. Go to Lycoming County, go to a nearby place, check them out, see what they look like. And again, because of Pennsylvania rule, we don't have all the air monitoring facilities around these stations. We don't know what's in the air. We know from other places it's not good. Again, every place you saw, they have a lot of tanks. Remember that spill down in West Virginia? They didn't tell you that some of those same chemicals are what they use in fracking. But we don't know that in Pennsylvania. But they do leak on occasion. And with the leaking comes some problems. This is one of the tanks in West Virginia, not necessarily the one that leaked, but you can see that's not the best moat system. But a lot of the, you know, when the compressor stations come through and they regulate the pressures, there's some condensation. They have a lot of tanks around those compressor stations and processing facilities. You want to make sure they have the kind of containment. So when they do leak, or if they do leak, you're protected and your water supply is as well. Again, leaks exist. This is a system that shows the magnitude of leaks in San Francisco. You're not San Francisco. These are distribution lines. But Your emergency prepared people need to know, the public needs to know, you've got problems right here in Pennsylvania. This is accidents, Allentown, I don't have to tell you any more about that. The methane leaks, we're losing 10%, 1 to 10% in storage and transmission of our pipeline. Some of it's by accident, some of it's by design. Those valves they turn on and off, in the air. 20 times more effective at trapping gas of heat than CO2. We're looking at significant climate change issues. And let's see if the next one comes up. And the EPA is having a global methane initiative right now to try to stop some of that stuff, but we need to do our part here as well. And I'd just like to tell you that you can get everything you need on our LEAD website, and this is not going to move. Ah, there you go. So we are a force for citizens, voice for change. We hope you will stay in touch, and I want to run you up to the commissioners meeting. My slideshow is different there, Linda's is different there, so if you want to find out more, go to the commissioners meeting. Thank you. Yeah. Is it open? It's not open. Thank you. I have a copy of these books here.
Folks, if you have friends or neighbors who couldn't make it today, there's a similar session put on by the Mountain Watershed Association on Monday, May 12th, a week from today at 6:30 p.m. So it's good for working folks. So I'm going to pass around some flyers for that. Please get them out to your friends and neighbors because this information is important and as many people as possible should have it.
I also want to add too, that these ladies did a good job. I've got to hand it to them. I also got to tell you, it's worse than what they say it is. You've got to get a hold of your county commissioners because I have 20 years of experience fighting these things. And your county commissioners likely will not take a stand on this. You are losing your rights as a community. These guys are coming in. Williams has a terrible track record. And it just goes on. And the bottom line is this is going to be exported to Asia and Ukraine. And you're going to be left holding the bag with all the detriment that's taking place here. Water issues, your land values are going down, and your insurance policy is going up. I just got a notice the other day, but my insurance will go up if there's a pipeline on my property. So it's much worse than what they're saying. But you did a great job.
Can we please thank our presenters?
Like I said,